Good morning, everyone. I want you to turn to your neighbor and say, great job showing up today. Great job showing up today. Was it hard for some of you to show up today? Who finds it difficult at times to show up? Yeah, at times it's a bit difficult, eh? So I remember precisely 2 years ago, I launched my product line. And I had this very big event, to launch it. And shortly after the launch, I just went back into my shell and I didn't know what to do. I was overwhelmed by the pretty business plan I had put together, all the marketing strategies, sales strategies, everything. I just sat down and did nothing. I practically blanked out. And I lacked motivation. I didn't know what to do. So about 4 weeks after, I went to Calgary Women's Show. I just wanted some inspiration. So I practically went to all the beauty vendors. I went from booth to booth. And that was when I met Evelyn Yero of Ellie Bianca. She's here today. So I was speaking to her and I was like, hey, how is it going? How is the show for you and all of that? And she said, she shared the story of Ellie Bianca with me. She told me why she started the business. And she said something that really stood with me. She said, I'm teaching my daughter, Ellie, of course, her daughter was there on the day. I'm teaching my daughter, Ellie, to show up for her own gig. Interesting. I was like, show up. This showing up has to have a deeper meaning because I had never heard it, in the business context before. So of course I walked away that day with a bottle of oil in my hands and I kept thinking, showing up. How am I showing up? How easy is it to show up? And what really motivates us to show up? At that time I was really down. And then I discovered that a lot of times as business women, we chase, we focus on the features of our product, the benefits of our product, the quality of our product, the price of our product. Those are the things we focus on. And I'm telling you, if that's what you're focusing on, at times it might be difficult for you to get out of bed. Because you're like, maybe another company has a better product than mine, maybe they have better quality products than mine, and you might not always show up. So I started thinking, what made Ellie Bianca show up that day? And how will I get myself motivated to show up? And I discovered that she told me the reason she started Ellie Bianca. She told me a why. And that question comes up a lot. What is your why? What is your why? And for some reason I thought it was some kind of invention. So it was that time I sat down and I was like, what is my why? Why did I start this company? I need to let this drive me. So basically, simply put, what is your why? A why is a purpose. It's the purpose, it's that cause, it's that belief that drives you to do whatever you want to do. And it drives you to wake up every morning to actually show up in business. So I read this book earlier in the year called Start With Why. And I read lots of companies, lots of examples of companies that actually started with why and that drive their companies through their why. A very good example is Mary Kay. It wasn't in that book, it's just because I read the Mary Kay book. Mary Kay Ash had worked all her career in a male-dominated industry. And she discovered that she would train a male colleague, and before she knew it, the male colleague was earning more than her. She would train another male colleague, before she knew it, the male colleague would become a boss. So she didn't know what to do, but she ended up, in that career. And at the end of the day, when she retired, she had this unrest within her to do something so that women don't have to go through that. So she thought, what can I do for women to have endless possibilities? What can I do for women to have hope? What can I do for women so that whatever they can create wealth at their own terms? She thought of that before she even thought of creating cosmetics or whatever she created. So when she wasn't an esthetician, she wasn't a makeup artist, she wanted to solve a problem. And she thought, how easily can I get to women? How easily can I connect with women? And that was when she created the skincare line and then the makeup line. And that is what drives the company till today. Apple is another very good example that started with why. Now, Apple is a company that defines themselves as a company that changes the status quo. So if they enter any industry, they just change the status quo. They want to change how people think, how people behave. That's all they're after. So it's very easy for them to enter any industry and have their own market share because they're driven by their why. It's not just about computer, it's not just about phones. Whatever industry they enter, they know exactly what they're targeting and they do exactly that, and they have a cult-like following because people believe in what they believe in. The people that believe in what you believe in, the people that believe in the cause that you believe in will always show up for you. So I started to think, why? Like, how do I even know my why? How do I even come, how do I sit down? How do I do the soul searching to actually find my why? So your why is not something you find, that you invent or that you just discover in one day. It takes a lot of soul searching. And this morning, I'll be taking you through a why discovery process. So there are some worksheets on the table, and I'm just going to run you through it. I'm hoping that by the time you get home, you take your time and do some more soul searching to actually answer those questions very well. So, the first thing you need to do when you want to discover why you actually started your business or why you're doing whatever you're doing is you want to do a timeline of your life. So here I've written preschool, primary school, secondary or high school, university, career, marriage. You can decide to actually break down the seasons of your life, by age or by whatever you think you want to break it up into. And now start trying to remember stories. What stories jump out for you? When you were in preschool, for instance, what do you remember? What do you remember when you were in primary school? What do you remember when you were in high school? What do you remember in university? What memories jump out for you? I really want you to take your time and do this exercise. Not today, but you can get home and do it. After putting the stories together, what you now need to do is you need to identify themes. What are the similar themes in those stories? What do you see that are similar? What are the themes behind it? What issues? So some other questions you can ask yourself that can really help you to understand those themes is, what issues in the world do you feel strongly about? What problem in the world do you lose sleep over? What can you do for free for people? What charities do you volunteer your time with? What topics can you discuss without getting tired? What do you research about all the time? What help do people ask you for? What books do you read? Why are your friends your friends? What do they like about you? What do people say you do well? By the time you've answered these questions, I will expect you to try and put together your purpose statement. You need to have that statement and it needs to live with you. As a businesswoman or as an entrepreneur, when you understand your why statement, it's very easy to sell it to everybody you're working with. It's very easy to communicate it to even your clients, your customers, and people naturally get attracted to the belief or the cause that you're supporting. After you've answered those questions, I want you to put together your why statement. And your why statement should have the following qualities. It should be simple and clear. It should be actionable. It should be focused on the effect you will have on others. It should be expressed in affirmative language that resonates with you. For instance, my own why is to connect women to their individual and unique beauty so that they can live a fuller and more expressive life. It was through that why I developed my vision statement for my company. It was through that why I developed my mission statement for my company. Everything we do aligns to that why. My company is not bound by the makeup industry or the skincare industry. It is bound by that why. So the branding strategy, the marketing strategy, everything we do is bound by that why statement. And I'm telling you, when you're very clear on your why, you show up every single day like you're with a feeling that you're part of something bigger. So today, this morning, what I want you to do is when you get home, take your time, do some soul searching, try to understand what your why is, and you will discover that you'll be motivated every single day to show up. Thank you.